Hey guys, Huso7 here, and today I've got a video to talk about the first DLC weapon available in Advanced Warfare. That's the AE4 Directed Energy Assault Rifle. This weapon is out right now for early weapon access if you're a Season Pass holder on the Xbox One or the Xbox 360 as of December 11th. You can read here on the message of the day. This weapon comes with a weapon variant. You can see in my new items, there's my Centurion gloves from the Clan War, so that's kind of cool that those finally came through. But you can see there is the AE4 and also the first variant that you get by default, the AE4 Widowmaker. One quick note is that there is other weapon variants that you can get out of supply drops. I don't have any yet because I haven't gotten any supply drops while I've had this, but there are other, possibly elite or professional quality variants out there, but the Widowmaker does come by default. Now you can see from this image up on the screen that the only real difference between the AE4 standard and the AE4 default variant, the Widowmaker, is that you gain 1 point extra of accuracy with the Widowmaker at the expense of 1 point down in the fire rate. Now one thing I want to talk about is when we select this weapon, you'll notice if you go to personalize that the royalty camo is unlocked by default. You can see it even says that I've completed all camo challenges for weapons in this class. I don't know if this is because this is a DLC weapon and so it is unlocking it just from the start, or if it's a bug, but as of right now you are able to equip and use the royalty camo right from the start with the AE4 Directed Energy weapon. Now when we look at the attachments for this weapon, nothing we haven't seen before. We've got our standard sights just like every other assault rifle. We've got the foregrip, we've got the microphone, the quick draw, the stock, all common with the other assault rifles. One thing we do have is because this is an energy directed weapon, kind of like the EM1, it has a heat sink attachment that will help to reduce that overheat cooldown that you experience, because this weapon does not shoot bullets. It's very similar to the laser, the EM1. You have no bullets, no clip size, you don't have to worry about reloading per se. I'll get to that in just a minute, but you only have to worry about making sure that your gun doesn't overheat, and you essentially have unlimited ammo because you don't have to overheat. You're just running on this battery, and you just kind of make sure that you keep your gun not overheating so that you're not filling up that and using up those batteries. So the heatsink is probably going to be a great attachment. I'll have some clips to show off the fire rate and how that will help you in just a minute, but that's one of the only sort of attachments that's kind of interesting about this weapon. Everything else is very standard of the assault rifles. Now one interesting thing about this weapon is that when you aim down the sight you can see that there is some weapon sway. So it's a little minor, but you will notice that the reticle is moving. If we switch to a weapon like the HBR-A3 and we aim down the sight, you'll notice that there is no weapon sway. That's true of all of the assault rifles in Advanced Warfare, with the exception now being the AE4 Directed Energy weapon. So you may find yourself having some accuracy issues with the weapon, but overall the weapon sway is pretty marginal. And one thing that the weapon does have going for itself is its default sight. You can see I've got the default sight on the right compared with the red dot on the left. And while the red dot may be better, you can see that the sight by default is really not that bad. It's pretty good. It's got the line kind of going right where your target is, and it's a pretty good sight right from the get-go, which means you don't have to waste an attachment point equipping a red dot if you don't want to. Now what I want to talk about is the rate of fire with this weapon and how it actually works. You notice that when you start shooting, your heat meter in the bottom right will start filling up. Again, that means that you don't have any ammo. You basically can use this in an unlimited amount. You just have to manage that heat. One thing to note is that you can push X to reload per se, but what you do is like insert a new battery, and that will quickly diminish the heat that you have already built up. So that's a fast way to get that bar to go back down. There is not a quick reload like there is with some of the other weapons. You only have the standard reload, but that is faster than if you are to shoot the weapon until it overheats, which requires a lot longer to cool down, and is often what was getting me killed when I was using this in the field, is that I was finding that I was overheating the weapon. It's taking a lot longer than I was expecting for the weapon to recharge, and during that time is when I was getting shot. Another quick note is that the heatsink is basically extended mags for this weapon, which allows you to shoot more and dissipate the heat quicker. I was only able to count, it's not necessarily exactly accurate because I'm trying to count based on my frame rates here, but I was counting about 20 to 22 shots with this thing before it was able to overheat. So that seems like a pretty low, magazine is what I'm going to call it, and so I do recommend unlocking that heatsink attachment and putting that on so that way you're able to get more shots off before the weapon overheats. So overall this weapon feels sort of like a HBR-A3 or feels like the AK. It's got pretty good stopping power. I can't necessarily comment exactly on the damage on the weapon range, but it did feel like it was dropping people pretty quick at close range. You know, we're talking maybe 3-4 shots. And it does have a very slow rate of fire, which is again why I'm comparing it to the AK or the HPR3. The rate of fire feels almost like you're just pulling the trigger really quickly if you're using like a single shot weapon or something, but it does have sort of a slow rate of fire, and again you're going to have an even slower rate of fire if you're using the Widowmaker, which is the default variant. But overall it is a pretty good weapon. I did enjoy it. I am having to get used to not reloading. I'm keep being tempted to reload my weapon after a kill, and I'm trying to get used to, which, you know, I mentioned when the rate of fire clip is a good thing to do to get that heat bar down, but I noticed myself doing it a lot more than maybe I needed to. And as long as you're able to manage your heat, it's a really good weapon. I'm enjoying it, and I'll have some more you know, videos with actually using it, but right now I just wanted to comment and say that it is a pretty good weapon. I have been enjoying it, and I do think it deals a lot of damage. You can see there in this clip that, like I mentioned earlier, what's getting me killed is really just if I shoot too much and overheat the weapon. So I think it's going to be a little bit easier to use once I'm able to put a grip on it and once I'm able to put a heatsink attachment on it, but until I unlock both those attachments, it is a little bit of a difficult weapon to get used to, but I'm, you know, banking on that it will be a better weapon once I get those two attachments unlocked. So there you have it. That's the AE4 Directed Energy Assault Rifle that is live in the game as of right now. So be sure to check it out, put it in your loadout, and see what you think of it. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. This is exciting that we're getting some DLC weapons. I'm not sure if we'll be getting more DLC weapons, like if we get one with each DLC map pack or something, or
that makes sense.
One. So be sure to subscribe so you can stay tuned to all of the videos I'll have coming out for Advanced Warfare, especially around the map packs and any other DLC weapons coming in the future. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.